This is Ryan and welcome back to the Angel Scrolls. Today I'm going to do the quantum reversal of Victor's The First Bird, which I recorded back in 2001. It's been through many phases of translation in forward mode, and this is the newest translation as a quantum reversal. I call it Interpreting Tongues, and it's going to have two parts. The first one, which will be about 5 minutes long. Victor starts off with, in a record of the course of time, there's a picture of Victor there. It's a clear picture. You should notice that it's done very lovingly, and that love is something you know. Let's hear that. So Victor says that he knows this picture will be there in the future and what the picture looks like. And I'll talk a little bit more about how he knows later on. In the next part he says, "Did you really not appreciate policy because you thought it might be only a risk to some people? When we excuse some evil, then policy is not what you wanted. Wake up." I believe in that part he's talking about the policies that are in the forum. Some people might not like them. There are extensive interpretations of Danny talking about how we should conduct ourselves when communicating with God's angels. In the next part, Victor says, "If you're going to burst in friendly to a court, you must be conscious of what is there. Facing what is possible, you'll accept someone might answer with competence." So in that part, Victor symbolizes that the forum is a court where some people there are going to judge what is happening. He wants people to know that they should study what is happening with the recordings before they rush to judgment. Some people may think in the beginning that this is only pareidolia, or it's an overzealous imagination on my part. But I've been doing this for many years. My training began over 40 years ago in Morse code, which I had a gift for in the military, and I've been translating or interpreting Budgie speech for almost 20 years now. So let's listen to the next part. This is what he says. "How come certain things that people put to its good use can lack knowledge? Obviously, certain people receive the answers, and it often comes from intervention." We'll listen to that now. So there are many examples in history when some of the greatest discoveries were given to more than one person by some miraculous force. Some people believe it relates to the Akashic records. Those that are into theosophy feel that the Akashic records are a collection of all human events, thoughts, words, and all things that have occurred in the past, present, or future. They are believed by theosophists to be encoded in a non-physical plane of existence known as the etheric plane. So what is theosophy? It's teaching about God and the world based on mystical insight. And what is mystical? It usually has a spiritual meaning. In the next part, Victor gets to the crux of the, or gets to the core of this translation. And he says, we talk in tongues, and when we've got the captions, it's better. You will see how in the Bible they talk about this. Now Ryan is doing it. Let me just move that forward a bit. So at this point I did a little search of the Bible on talking in tongues, and there are quite a few references to it in the New Testament. Keep in mind that most Christians believe that Christian prophecy ended with Jesus. However, these passages about talking in tongues may say the contrary. In Corinthians 12:4-10, it says, the gift of speaking in tongues was one of many given to believers to aid in the building up of the body of Christ, which is the church. Another part of it says, if anyone speaks in a tongue, let there be two, or at the most three, each in turn, and let one interpret. In 1 Corinthians 14:26 and 27, even Jesus foretold of speaking in tongues. And he says, and these signs will follow those who believe. They will speak with new tongues. In the next part, Victor talks more about speaking in tongues and says, if there is speaking in tongues, you're chosen, and change is coming with prophecy, and we'll see that in the future.
Tell her to slow down when she talks.
So I'm going to go into a couple more Bible verses on talking in tongues. In 1 Corinthians 12:28-30, it says, God has appointed these in the church, first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, administrations, and varieties of tongues. 1 Corinthians 14:28, if there is no interpreter, the speaker should keep quiet in the church and speak to himself and to God. So usually speaking in tongues is accompanied with the future events such as a miracle, birth of a religion, or a healing of some kind. In the next part, Victor says, you'll truly find that there is a reason to be excited. It's a miracle certainly when you see about the future. It's only when your training is good that you grow. Slowly, you'll care about the truth. I tell you, I often get excited when the angels tell me that they're doing this so humanity can lessen their pain and suffering in the future. Also looking at this, I don't feel so bad that it's taken me so long to get it going, because I truly believe that the angels have trained me well in something I'm destined to do. I also know that the angels will choose the right time to bring it forth so others will be able to get involved as well. In the next part, Victor says, if you don't believe in this, your confusion has stopped you totally to want to help, unless you make a concession. If you will, you shall evolve. Let's play that now. So for most people who are a little bit confused about what is happening here, it's probably natural to be reluctant to help in the beginning. However, if we make a concession and say to ourselves that we still believe in God and Jesus, as we have been taught in the past, but at the same time, we're open to find out more and gain knowledge, perhaps making that concession will not cause so much guilt for those who have feared that they could be sinning against God. God's angels have told us in the past that we have a right to seek more knowledge about God, and He does not judge us for past or current beliefs as well. In the next part, Victor says, in your future, the spirits care for your security. They care for humanity's suffering that is experienced during life. The angels can warn you if it is important. It's important for the future support. So do you doubt that the angels and God could help humanity in the future if we were willing to listen? If you believe in a loving God, you would know that He and His angels do not want to see humanity suffering. In the next part, Victor says, we obviously can interact in your mission. Should you work on what we're saying, our respect is earned. Post more and you'll show them reason to be informed better. So let's hear that part. So the interactions of the angels will become more evidence as we have more interaction from people. Meanwhile, they're still content to talk in tongues and be interpreted, while at the same time giving prophecy. This will give those that come a chance to be informed ahead of time before things really start to happen. In the next part, Victor says, Victor's a precious bird. Those who have pleasure in rock and roll take techniques from all things that challenge them more. Of course, they're doing something more for all the people listening. They get rewarded with applause from some people who choose to be there. Because of that, they will have a secondary audience who will have something of worth to them. Let's hear that. I'm going to move it again. So even God and the angels understand that we have different choices when it comes to the type of music we like and listen to. However, there may be times when we are listening to someone that is out of our genre and begin to like it as well. So some who come here will have a passion for what we're doing, and some will come here pretend they do, or perhaps they're just curious. It really doesn't matter to the angels. One thing that God is looking for is caring and good people so He can help them evolve to the next level of spirituality. And it is totally their right to choose if they want to be part of it. In the next part, Victor says, these people can open to another passion. Passion can help them find the miracles that change their life. It's important how you're going to catch them when they're sent. If you open yourself up to something new, it can create passion. And if you have a passion to look for miracles in your life, it can actually change your life as you walk with God and the angels. If you do, you can rely on them to be near you when you are surrounded by evil. Like an umbrella, they will protect you. In the next part, Victor says, when you love something, passion follows your love. Yet some will be a lonely actor. God looks for caring, good people here. I want to go back to a couple of other verses about speaking in tongues. In 1 Corinthians 13, it says, if I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that I can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. So all of my budgies in the past, all three of them, have talked extensively about the importance of love and how it is the driving force for miracles. So even Paul, who wrote these letters to the Corinthians when he first started Christianity, reminds me of what the angels are communicating to us now. In the next part, Victor says, if you try to begin to review what we have relayed from heaven, you might adapt to like it. You'll need to listen to something you're not used to hearing. Just try. If you put on the act here, you find you won't really change, so we will help you experience it.
Turn this way, Victor. Okay, that's better. Face here. Good boy. Show me your wings. Your wing. Okay. Face here. There.
So I've worked with people in the past who are the pretenders, and I later found out that some are only in it for personal reasons to benefit themselves and only hear what they want to hear and forget about the rest. So if you're one of those people, you may find that you really don't change, even if the angels prove it to you on multiple occasions. However, you may also surprise yourself and become a believer. So we're approaching the final part now, and in that he says, there are people who are trivial sinners who won't give up if something can affect their life. Change is coming, and you're bound to learn from heaven.
Trivial sinners. Talk louder. Loud.
A trivial sin is one of little value or importance. According to the Roman Catholicism, a venial sin is a lesser sin that does not result in eternal damnation in hell, as an unrepentant mortal sin would. So what I think the angels are trying to say is that God does not really worry too much about the trivial sinners, because he knows no one is perfect. And generally, a trivial sinner is a good person who will try hard to work on something that can change their life for the better, and they can learn from a heavenly source. We've also learned from the angels that God wants people to know that he would never condemn someone to eternal damnation, no matter how bad the sin was, as that would be worse than the most terrible sin of them all. Okay, that's it for today. I hope that turned out okay, and I'll see if I can get another one, the second half of this one, up this weekend. Bye for now.
Tell her to slow down when she talks. You know I will sit there like... Turn this way, Victor. Okay, that's better. Face here. Good boy. Show me your wings. Talk louder.